Lights, camera, debate, ignite, passion strong under the spotlight. Tune in for the clash, tune in for the spark. The critic and the cynic light up the dark.
Welcome back to The Critic and the Cynic. This one I'm the most intrigued to watch because of the title. Trivia at St. Nick's. I'm a big fan of trivia. I like trivia night at the bar. I like watching trivia game shows on TV. I like playing trivia, games on the phone or board games even. So I'm a big trivia person. So that alone has got me interested in what's going on. The poster for this isn't much of anything. No, we got...
I thought it was a 2, but actually I think
it's
probably
a question mark. It's a question mark because
yeah.
of trivia. Yeah, we got your two leads that look to be leaning over they're leaning over the dot on the question mark.
Yeah, and that's what was throwing me off because I'm like, why is there a 2 in the background? Because is this a sequel?
It's a sequel. Trivia at
St.
St. Nick's 2.
Yeah.
No.
I was just like, oh, that's alarming. But
so okay, let's take a look and find out what this is all about. So this does have a tagline. It says, "Have yourself a Merry Quizmas." Woo!
So clever.
Hey, that's smart. I like it. I like how all of the taglines don't help at all, and they are all a play on words. It's all puns.
You would like that. I'm just like cringing at them.
This is great. This is great. All right, let's take a look at the premise behind this one. This new rom-com. All right. When students all flee an elite university in Vermont.
Oh, good.
We're back in Vermont. For winter break, the locals and faculty hunker down for their favorite time of the year, the annual Christmas Bar Trivia Tournament. For Celeste, a Type A astronomy professor, this event combines the magic of Christmas with her greatest comfort in life, knowing the right answer. But when her colleague drops out of a tournament to do a month-long lecture tour in Asia, Celeste's team must adopt Max, the football team's new offensive coordinator. To Celeste, Max seems like nothing more than a grown-up class clown, though he brings an undeniable knowledge of sports trivia, a category their team has always fallen short in. Initial clashes between the two eventually turn into mutual appreciation as the team enjoys scavenger hunts on campus, decorating the international house with Christmas lights, baking Christmas cookies, and advancing toward the championship trivia game. That is one long premise.
That is.
It's like the entire movie that we just read.
It definitely felt more like
Look,
a summer.
let's cut that down for a second. Let's say this guy and this girl, they hang out at trivia night, they do some trivia and fall in love.
Well, sure, but you also got that clash. You got the smart, studious girl, and then the jock.
Yes.
They don't initially get along, but they'll find common ground usually. And
that's where the trivia comes into play, like they say. Like, he might be stupid. He could be like one of those comedic geniuses in the movie. Like, he's just hilarious because he's so dumb. But then when it comes down to sports trivia, he's suddenly a genius.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. But who do we have in this? We have Brant Dougherty. Brant
kind of looks familiar.
A little bit. He's got something about his eyes there. Tammin Sursuk. What? The people that they cast in these movies, the names that they got.
I almost feel like he might have been on Pretty Little Liars. I don't know.
He's got that look. He's got the Pretty Little Liars look.
Yeah, I would have to look that up, but definitely looks familiar.
Yeah.
2 hours later.
That was a doozy.
Yeah, it was something else. This is the movie that, like last week, where I was kind of interested in watching a movie solely based off of the title. So in last week, you're talking about the 5-Year Christmas Party, and this one we're talking about trivia. Like I said before, I am a big fan of trivia in general, so that's really the sole reason why I was intrigued on watching this. And to give you a quick recap on what it's about trivia. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about a bunch of people that really like to go to a quote-unquote bar to go play trivia, except for the fact that there's nothing about this bar that feels like a bar. In fact, I believe what I said while watching it is it feels like they rented out a special room in a library to do their little trivia matches, because that's the extent of what you're going to find in this movie. Our two leads here, you had pointed this out, are both from Pretty Little Liars.
Yes.
I would actually point out that as one of the positives here, because you're not just talking about one person from something that we watched in the past, but you're talking about two different people. So these are people that already had chemistry, not too much unlike our aunties from Sabrina and the Teenage Witch.
Right.
So you got a couple people that have worked together in the past. Whenever that happens, you know that they're going to have at least a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah, but nothing could save this.
Here's the thing. The movie's boring. It is. It's 110% boring. What I wanted out of it is not what I got. I didn't want them to keep coming back to more and more trivia matches. I thought it was going to be like this one trivia match that was ridiculous, like really hard or really interesting or whatever, maybe swapping viewpoints from character to character to see how they're doing, you know. But the fact that they kept on going back to this thing, that's what ultimately made it boring for me.
So you would have rathered one big trivia match and just like them preparing for it, like the whole
yeah, like before, during, and after for your 3-act structure. And the preparation's one thing, that'll be, you know, introducing you to all the characters, right? They all need some kind of introduction. But the during is the most substantive part of the movie, in my opinion. There's a stronger focus on the trivia part, where you're actually invested in whatever team you're voting for.
I was invested in no one. These were all ridiculous, over-the-top characters that were driving me crazy.
Well, yes, but this is where it gets interesting, because as I have said in the past, we are always supposed to give it 3 positive things. I already said our leads here from Pretty Little Liars, obviously they had some chemistry that they could bring to the table, which is interesting. I like the premise of trivia, even though I do not think that they executed that premise as well as they could have. And I left it for one thing for you to give one good thing about it.
It is possible that we learned some facts about Christmas and reindeer that we didn't know before. That's it.
We actually learned some trivia of Christmas, like how fast reindeer can run if they are not powered by magic. So real top speeds running of reindeer. So that's something else. There's not much to this film narratively. Anytime that they went away from the trivia match, I couldn't care less of what they were doing. Nothing was happening. And the fact that they're all kind of obsessed with trivia, I guess some people are. But to this extent, and I love that one of the trivia questions had to do with Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, that was.
It was hilarious because everybody had their own favorites. Everybody believed that they were all beloved, and they're like, "No, it's this. No, it's that." And I'm like, "How do you guys even know one of these movies?" No, apparently everybody's favorite thing in the world is also, just as a nice little tongue-in-cheek thing, is that they all really like Christmas Hallmark movies.
And the great part about that little section is I swear they spent more time on the Hallmark trivia question than any previous.
That's right.
Or
That's right, because the old guy is like, "Oh yeah, I love Friends, the TV show, but maybe even more so than Friends, I love Hallmark Christmas movies." It's like, how do you make that distinction? Now you gotta give it a percentage.
40. It was bad.
40%, folks. You know, funny enough, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think of what I would give it. And honestly, before you said that, I was thinking 35.
Oh, I cannot be higher than you, okay? Fine, 25.
Well, you can't be high. No, you can be higher than me.
No, I hated this movie so much.
I'm just talking, you know, I'm the critic. So I'm just saying, you know, narratively, I think it was a little bit jumbled. I think that they could have just focused on one trivia match and just make that the movie. And it would have been a lot smoother, and it would have made a lot more sense. You would have been much more involved in what was going on in the trivia, and potentially what was going on in each group that was playing trivia. Maybe you would be rooting for one over the other. But as it is, because they jumbled it up, and because they split it apart into how many god-awful trivia matches.
5.
Like, what's the point of that?
It was 5 rounds.
5
That
rounds.
were different nights.
But different
So
nights.
stupid. I mean, that's not how trivia works.
It doesn't, because if you think about it, Christmas trivia is something, okay, that exists. But usually it's one night.
And if you have 5 rounds, it's just still all in one night.
It would still be, yeah, exactly. So the fact that you would keep going back to this one spot, St. Nick's pub or whatever. Pubs and bars usually have trivia nights one night a week, which means 5 different nights would be past a month.
Which it wasn't. It was like night after night
Which,
for a week.
that doesn't happen. As far as I'm concerned, bars have different events every single day. Karaoke, open mic, trivia night, live music, and just a regular night of not having any of that, right? You can't have trivia every single night. And it can't always be themed after the same thing.
Well, and if it was, even if they kept with the whole Christmas trivia junk, they would go, okay, this is sports Christmas trivia. Why couldn't they just do different nights? Like, why couldn't one of the nights been all sports and the next night was all plants? I mean, like, it just didn't make any sense.
Why?
Because they had multiple rounds with different topics each night for 5 nights. It's just weird.
It is. It's jumbled. It's all over the place. It's something that I consider to be easily avoidable. Anytime that I'm watching a movie and I'm like, well, if I did it, I would do it this way, and then I start listing off A, B, and C, that's when I know that a movie's probably not all that great. The approach that it takes is just sloppy. And ultimately, I think that Trivia at St. Nick's is sloppy. But here's a question for you. If you didn't use your nope veto button for your musical at the beginning of the week, would you have used it here?
Probably not. I mean, because it's bad and it was annoying and I did not enjoy any of it.
Right?
But it wasn't like nails on a chalkboard bad.
Yes, because you also didn't use your crap button.
Right.
I'm actually kind of surprised, but I would also be surprised if you used 2 buttons in the same week. Goodness gracious. But who knows? We have one more movie to talk about here, and we have more buttons that are available. You still have a unicorn and a crap. I still have a crap and a veto. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, Trivia at St. Nick's, not the greatest movie in the world. Definitely probably the second worst of the week. But we have yet to see the last movie that we're talking about this week. The 6th film that we're talking about, which is called